Okay, so for your Read Aloud, Think Aloud, I have copied a couple pages out of a book that I'm reading right now for another class, and I went ahead and put the notes. What I typically do when I'm doing a Read Aloud, Think Aloud is I make a copy of the pages, and then as I'm reading through it, I look for things that I might have to think, or at least have to model thinking for students who struggle with reading and reading comprehension. The purpose of the Read Aloud, Think Aloud is to help students see the types of skills that are involved with comprehending reading, because students that do struggle with that, they don't understand or have any experience with some of the thinking that goes on behind the scenes. So that is the point of doing this, so that they start thinking that way as they're reading. So I'm just going to start up at the top on the very first line on the left. Mom wanted the truth, and Dad wouldn't recognize it if it danced up and bit him on the nose. I think that danced up and bit him on the nose means Dad lies a lot. But even though I didn't really understand what was going on, I guess it percolated down to me somehow. When I see it percolated down to me, I'm thinking that what Dad did made me do things also. The more Dad lied, the more I told the truth. My earliest memory is of my mother complaining that the laundry had shrunk her new pants. "Your pants didn't get smaller, Mommy," I assured her. "Your butt got bigger." Little kids get away with that kind of stuff, so she laughed it off. When it says little kids get away with that kind of stuff, I think it must be talking about being brutally honest rather than being polite. But she wasn't laughing 3 years later when the next door neighbor asked my opinion of her light and fluffy cake. I thought it over. It tastes like vacuum cleaner fuzz, and the icing reminds me of antifreeze. "Wally, how could you say such a thing?" my mother wailed when we got home. How could you say such a thing? I think what she means is that what I said was too honest, and it hurt the neighbor's feelings. "Mom," I asked, "did Dad really miss my birthday party because he had to visit a sick friend?" It didn't matter that she didn't answer. I had already seen the hotel bill on my father's night table. The Desert Inn, Las Vegas. I was more stuck on the truth than ever. For me, honesty wasn't just the best policy, it was the only one. I told my soon-to-be ex-piano teacher that her fingernails reminded me of velociraptor claws. When it says soon-to-be ex-piano teacher, I think that means she stopped being my piano teacher because of what I said about her fingernails. The cook at summer camp, I informed that his pork chop could double as a bulletproof vest. My cousin Melinda's clarinet playing I described as somebody strangling a duck. "Must you be so, colorful?" my mother moaned. When she describes that as colorful, I'm thinking again that she means I shouldn't be so brutally honest because it upsets others. "When it's the truth," I said firmly. "But the Abernathys are so proud of their new house. Did you have to announce that it's built on a slant?" "It is!" I dropped my yo-yo and it rolled all the way to the kitchen. "Wally," she pleaded, "how can I make you understand?" I used to wonder if things would have been different if I'd had the guts to tell my dad that he didn't have to be a war hero or an astronaut or a CIA agent. It was enough for me that he was my dad. I'm thinking here, would I be so hard on others if I did it the one time that it really mattered? Would I be so quick to be so brutally honest if I had been that honest with my dad when it really counted? I almost did it once. I was so close. But before I could get my mouth open, he said, "Wally, have I ever told you about the time I led a crew that put out oil well fires?" Oil well fires. So I gave up. And eventually, so did Mom. I was in 5th grade when they got their divorce. By then, I wouldn't have told a lie at gunpoint. That's why I never once complained about the black eye I got for telling Buzz Bolitsky he had the IQ of a ring-ding. You won't see me crying over the fact that I haven't received a birthday present from Uncle Ted for 2 years. The fact is, Uncle Ted's toupee really did look like a small animal had crawled up onto his head and died there. If he didn't want the truth, he shouldn't have said those fateful words. Do you notice anything different about me? So when Mr. Fogelman had us write book reviews in 8th grade English, I wasn't trying to be rude or disrespectful or even smart-alecky. I gave Fogelman what I give everybody, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Old Shep, My Pal, by Zach Paris, is the most boring book I've read in my entire life. I did not have a favorite character. I hated everybody equally. The most interesting part came on the last page where it said, "The End." This book couldn't be any lousier if it came with a letter bomb. I would not recommend it to my worst enemy. Mr. Fogelman scanned the few lines and glared at me, face flaming in anger. "This isn't what I assigned." I should say that I had nothing against Mr. Fogelman at that moment. He was okay. The kind of young teacher who tries to be one of the guys, but everything he does only shows how out of it he is. I just wanted to set the record straight. By one of the guys, I think that means that teacher's trying to be cool. "Yes, it is," I told him. "The assignment sheet said to give our honest opinion, write what was our favorite part and character, and make a recommendation. It's all there." "Old Shep, My Pal, is a timeless classic," roared the teacher. "It won the Gunhold Award. It was my favorite book growing up. Everybody loves it." He turned to the rest of the class. "Right?" When that teacher says it was my favorite book growing up, everybody loves it, he was giving an opinion, and more importantly, his opinion. When he turned to the rest of the class to ask right, I think he wanted to get everyone else's reassurance that his opinion was what their opinion was. The reaction was a murmur of mixed reviews. It was okay, I guess. Not too bad. Why did it have to be so sad? That murmur of mixed reviews, that doesn't sound like everyone really liked it. They weren't really backing up the teacher there. "Exactly," Fogelman pounced on the comment. "It was sad. What a heartbreaking surprise ending." "I wasn't surprised," I said. "I knew old Shep was going to die before I started page 1. "Don't be ridiculous," the teacher snapped. "How?" I shrugged. "Because the dog always dies. Go to the library. Pick out a book with an award sticker and a dog on the cover. Trust me, that dog's going down." "Not true," stormed Mr. Fogelman. "Well," I challenged, "what happened to Old Yeller?" "Oh, all right," the teacher admitted, "so Old Yeller died." "What about Sounder?" piped up Joey Quick. "And Bristleface," added Mike Feather Wrigley, one of my football teammates. "Don't forget where the red fern grows," I put in. "The double whammy. 2 dogs die in that one." If I stop and think about that, there was Joey Quick, Feather Wrigley, and my character. They were still backing me up. They weren't backing up the teacher at that part. "You've made your point," growled Mr. Fogelman, "and now I'm going to make mine. I expect a proper review, and you're going to give it to me during detention." When he says I expect a proper review, I think he means a review that supports his point of view on that book. This excerpt was from the book No More Dead Dogs by Gordon Korman. Now, what you need to do is find an excerpt from a book, and I want you to do the read aloud, think aloud with your student. Be sure that you record it and put it on here in the appropriate spot on Edmodo under the read aloud, think aloud section. All right, have fun.